What are the chances that you may be wrong and have perhaps fallen for a lie in believing that the earth is flat?
My first thought would be, if someone brought me a different dictionary or lexicon or concordance that had all the words I provided in this interview, the definitions for these words and terms that show me something completely opposite of those with totally different definitions, then I might reconsider what I've been formulating and concluding from the scriptures. But ultimately, that doesn't exist. That's not a reality. There are ministries that acknowledge the definitions of the words that I've been talking about and the model of creation I've been describing, but they immediately don't want to believe it. And they formulated a new doctrine they call the doctrine of accommodation, which says even though the Creator described all this, he was just talking to people who couldn't understand what we know today. He was just accommodating to their ignorance of their time. NASA came along later and showed us where we all really live. And that type of logic, that type of thought process is something I don't understand and cannot get behind. What it really boils down to is asking the question, what are the chances the Father has told us inaccurate information through his angels and prophets about what he made and how he uses it on the day of the Lord for our salvation and how he uses it to defeat his enemies? Is all that stuff false? The whole context and story of the Bible takes place inside of this room that's called the biblical creation model that has a firmament over us with multiple layers above that. The whole story takes place in that. It doesn't take place on a ball in space. To me, this topic isn't about chances of interpretation. It's about plainly written words and concepts that are constantly reinforced in the application of context all throughout the story. It's about whether or not we believe what's written. We believe in virgin conception, talking donkeys, the sun and moon standing still, seas parting, pillars of fire, floating axe heads, countless untold miracles and healings by Jesus, the resurrection of Jesus. His resurrection is the center of our faith. It foreshadows our promise of eternal life via our resurrection. Paul calls our resurrection the blessed hope in the letter to the Romans. When's the last time you saw someone resurrected into a glorified body that now lives forever? Well, this is what we've been promised in the covenant. We don't struggle to believe these ideas for some reason, for this is what is preached, but that's only part of the larger story taking place within a specific, multi-layered model of creation. Why do we struggle to believe that fantastic, blessed hope takes place inside of a controlled environment that the Creator described for us in great detail? We believe in angels. We believe heaven is a real place. I think the listeners get the point, but to me, I want to encourage the listener that it took me some time to study this topic and come to an understanding of just how much this topic is discussed throughout the scriptures. The word firmament, which is also called heaven, is used over 400 times throughout the Bible. It's a very important piece of context when Jesus says he goes to prepare a place for us and there are many rooms in his Father's house. If it were not so, he wouldn't have told us. That's the kingdom of the New Jerusalem. It's literal, and it helps the survivors of the day of the Lord survive. But that's a different topic that I can review on a different day if you decide to interview me again.
Yeah.